The World Mobile rollout continues forward. Updates on COTI and Djed, and a full recap of Book.io's plans for Q1 and 2023. It's time for the weekly report. Welcome back to Woodland Pools. Today it's time for the weekly report. Let's go ahead and jump in. And let's start with World Mobile. Now, for those of you that haven't been following World Mobile very closely, you might have missed this demo from the end of last year, where they showed a phone connected to World Mobile LTE making a successful call from one phone to the other in the United States. This highlights their plans to connect the unconnected, not just in third world countries, but in any remote area that needs service that doesn't have it. And that's why we now see a worldmobile.us page dedicated to connecting the remote areas in the United States as well. If we scroll down and take a look at how this is going to work, for those that are not familiar, this is a great demo. Here we can see one of their signature aerostats flying in the sky, and the idea with the aerostats, these areas where there aren't dense populated areas, you can have these aerostats and then air nodes run by individual entrepreneurs in these more densely populated urban areas. The idea for an end user is they can connect to any of them at any time, getting their services provided to them by the aerostats in the air, as well as the air nodes provided by entrepreneurs on the ground. These aerostats and other air nodes are going to be the point of connection for people, but the actual place where the facilitation of different calls and the charging in World Mobile tokens is going to happen with Earth nodes. So Earth nodes are going to be run by individual Earth node operators. We've claimed one for the ASPEN stake pool, and for all of those that are going to be running Earth nodes, the Earth node NFTs are now available to claim. Many of your well-known stake pool operators that are planning on running Earth nodes, you've probably already seen them tweeting about this, about how they've already claimed their Earth node NFTs. The testnet for this has just now kicked off. We're going to see more and more people invited into the testnet to make sure everything is working correctly with the Earth nodes, and the idea is that in Q1 we should expect the mainnet launch of the World Mobile network, utilizing the production Earth nodes, working with the air nodes to facilitate service. And now, if you have World Mobile tokens, when the Earth nodes go live, you'll be able to stake to your preferred Earth node pool, but in the meantime, you can stake them to the World Mobile token vault. You just come to worldmobiletoken.com, click on Enter Vault, and then it'll have you create a vault where you can stake your World Mobile tokens, and you can do it with a software or hardware wallet. It's a great way to get passive staking rewards, very similar to how you stake your ADA, and get additional World Mobile tokens while you're waiting for the mainnet. Next, we got some updates from Shahaf Bar-Geffen, the CEO of COTI, talking about Djed. Now, there's three main categories of stablecoins. You have your fiat stablecoins like Emergo's USDC that's going to be launching later this year. You have algorithmic stablecoins like Indigo's IUSD, and for a long time, because there was an algorithm behind it to figure out how much Shen you needed for each Djed to make sure that a Djed is valued at exactly $1, people were calling it an algorithmic stablecoin. But in this video, Shahaf was making the claim that unlike other algorithmic stablecoins, Djed really belongs in the category of a over-collateralized stablecoin. So yes, there is an algorithm being used, just like how there's algorithms in everything, but in their eyes, the fact that Shen over-collateralizes Djed at up to an 8-to-1 collateral ratio, an over-collateralized debt position is the right category for Djed in their eyes. So I point this out because you're going to hear this more and more, especially as more stablecoins go live. A couple of days ago, there was also an update put out by COTI Labs, letting us know that they are still on track with the launch is expected for the mainnet of Djed in January. So sometime in the next couple of weeks, we should see the mainnet launch of Djed, and you'll be able to swap in and out of Djed for stablecoins, and if you want to be part of the reserve process, you can also buy some Shen. In the meantime, if you'd like, Djed.xyz is still live and running on the testnet. You can only access this if you're outside of the United States, but if you are, you can come here now and play around with minting and burning both Djed and Shen. Next, there was a great Twitter space that was hosted by the Book.io team, where they went through their plans for Q1 and 2023. And so what I thought we would do is, similar to how we cover every month Cardano 360 and present you guys with a short recap of that, since this Twitter space was filled with a bunch of really good information and ran for about an hour and a half, let's go through some of the highlights of the Book.io plans for Q1 and 2023. They kicked off the space reflecting on the holiday season and sharing that over 50,000 ADA worth of books were given away. Now, these were not just books that the Book.io team had. Most of these were donated by the community to the book team, and then the book team facilitated giveaways to people all across the community, totally for free. So props to the whole community for giving away these books, and to the Book.io team for taking on the responsibility to facilitate the giveaway. That's a lot of books. So as we got into the actual plans for the first quarter and the rest of the year, the team shared that in their eyes, we're just now entering what they called the golden age of books. On January 26th, we can look forward to the minting of Alice in Wonderland, which on top of being a really great classic, is going to be the first book that's minted on both Ethereum and Cardano simultaneously. So some details on that, we can expect separate unique covers on both blockchains, so you won't have duplicates on one and on the other. And while the team is going to definitely continue minting on Cardano, the goal is to continue continue minting on Ethereum, and then after that, adding additional proof of stake chains like Polygon, Algorand, DOT, and others. The idea is to bring on as many people as easily as possible, and we might also see credit card payments potentially as soon as this January 26th mint. Then there was a good question that came in from the audience where they said, hey, it's awesome that you guys have these different goals, but as you've gotten these investments from venture capitalists, do you have any worry that they're either going to steer you or the company in a direction that the original founders didn't intend? And the team made it very clear that they still have a controlling stake in the company, and at the end of the day, these investors are going to have some say in where things go, but the core team made it very clear that them holding a controlling interest was very much not by accident, and that when it comes to the direction of the company, they're pretty much going to do whatever they want. So looking back at 2022, they characterize it as basically being the year that kicked off the project and was sort of the year of collectibles, of really nice, beautiful artwork on the covers, and people buying classics not necessarily just because they wanted to have that book, but also getting these collectibles that represented this unique time where we were seeing decentralized encrypted assets for the first time, where you got to truly own your own stuff. But looking forward now to 2023, the goal for the team is looking at mass market of book purchases, and that's where we see these things like multi-platform coming in, and also the idea of credit card purchases, really any way that we can get people on board as easily as possible and reading and owning more books. They're actively looking into audiobooks and how quickly they can bring those on board, and for those that remember the Mint&Print, the idea that you would buy your digital book asset and have that in your wallet, and additionally, you could print a physical copy and have it sent to your house. The goal for this Mint&Print is to have it up and running by as soon as this spring, so keep an eye out for that. Another cool thing that was totally off my radar is that it sounds like the team not only bought up Book.io, but they also purchased Stuff.io, and the idea being that this Stuff.io is going to be sort of a catch-all for all other different kinds of decentralized encrypted assets. We can look for things like music, other art, potentially courses, tutorials, all different kinds of things that fall into the category of a decentralized encrypted asset that's not quite a book, but that you want to be able to hold and own inside of your own wallet. Another cool thing that I'm really looking forward to, that this is now the second or third time I've heard them mention, is the idea of lending and borrowing books. Because I mean, it's cool that you can buy a book and if you want, then you can sell it later, but it'd be really nice if you could just lend it to a friend, or you can imagine in a classroom setting where you could have a teacher who virtually lends it out to all of the students for the semester and then can recall all of those books back. The goal, as the team put it, is that everybody should be able to be a bookstore, everybody can be a library. We also got some additional insights into their thoughts for the book token and the utility around it. For those that are not familiar, the idea for the book token is that you would earn it in the Read2Earn program. So literally as you're reading through the books that sit in your wallet, you would earn book tokens as you're working through the book. This is not live yet, but that's the idea of how the tokens are going to be assigned to people as they're actually utilizing the platform. Now the cool thing is that when it comes to multi-chain, even though they're planning on assigning books on multiple chains, since Book.io is a native Cardano project, and as they said, the Cardano logo is in the Book.io logo, Read2Earn will earn you Cardano native assets no matter what chain you read it on. The mission is to get 100 million people on Book.io's platform, and I'm really excited to see what rolls out in this full year ahead. Let me know what you're most excited about or if I missed any important updates, and if nothing else, we'll see you next week.